Welcome back. So in this one we are going to look at types and TypeScripts. And what other types are we going to look at? We're going to look at types supported by JS and TypeScript, and in addition to that there are certain types that TypeScript gives you in addition to what JS already provides, right? So let's look into that. So we have got these types, these three types, right? String, number, boolean, already provided by uh, there's something the array is also provided by JavaScript, although it's an object in JavaScript, but yeah, it's inherently provided to you, right? So these are already provided by TypeScript, of course. Other than that, regex, which is generally which is uh, a type that is inherently provided by TypeScript, but not in JavaScript. In JavaScript, you need to pass regex as something into this, instantiating this object and passing regex as a string, while in TypeScript will look into that. So let's look at the examples and we'll get to it. So for the first one, we'll look at an example of variable string, right? Variable string is equal to hello, right? So if you hover over where string now, you'll see you'll just need to press Control if you're on Windows and hover over where string, and you'll see that where string has value hello, right? So this you can provide like this. Even if you don't do, uh, you still have auto assignment, right? So once you refer to where string again, right? And here you can see, and you try to set it to a number, right? Where cannot assign to where string because it is a constant. Okay, let's change this to variable. That can be changed. Now let's say type number is not assignable to type string, right? Where string is of type string, we can tell it from here, right? So this is called auto assignment. Once you assign something and you haven't mentioned anything, TypeScript automatically assigns type string to it like this, and you cannot change that. You cannot assign something else to that later on, right? That is just to warn you, right? So if you want to explicitly do that, you can do it like this. Say you want to not assign anything, but you want to assign a string only in future. So you can just type colon string like that, and when you try to assign it a number, it will throw an error. Not an error, but a squiggly line showing a warning. Type number is not assignable to type string, right? So it reminds you have to pass only a string, right? Similarly, you can do it for where num is equal to 1, right? So this has been assigned a variable, a type of number. You can see it here when you press Control and hover over it. You can see it, right? This is number. Similarly for bool, where bool, right? You can pass true, and it's automatically sets it to boolean. You can explicitly also set to boolean this way. You can explicitly set it to number this way. Okay, now it's showing error because you said you want it to be a number and you're passing true, right? So it's throwing an error, showing an error. Type boolean is not assignable to type number, right? So we saw string, number, boolean. Now let's look at regex. So regex is something. Regex. Let's just see regex in TypeScript, right? So you can directly start using I'll just take an example of regex from here. Okay, and set it here. Let where regex is equal to right. So you need to put these slashes over here, backslash. Okay, and this is, let's look at the type it as assigned regex, right? You need not write new regex and all those things. You can just put it between these backslashes and it's done, right? It's auto assigned regex, regular expression, right? Now let's go to string array. Okay, array is an interesting type, right? So say let a variable string array. Say you want to create an array which includes only strings, right? B comma C. All right, let's hover and see. It has automatically assigned it string array, right? Say you want to assign number array, so you're gonna write it like this. So this, by assigning it like this, it says that this is going to be an array and it's only going to take number as its element. Or if you change this to string, right, our errors are all gone here, squiggly lines are all gone because it is an array of string. So you just need to add this at the end of, you need to set this, and before that you need to pass in the type which will be used, right? So if you say have multiple array of uh, multiple data types, right? So say comma 1 comma 2 comma 3, so you want it to be like this. Okay, so all you have to do is, this is an OR operator. Okay, so all you're saying is I want an array which is going to be elements are going to be of type string or number. Okay, if you're passing in boolean, this will fail, right? It's showing me a squiggly line here that I cannot pass boolean. Okay, so that's a way of initializing or setting up data type for a variable where you want array of specific types. Okay, there's another way to do the same thing, which is, I'll just show you. It is array, and you type array, literally you type array and put up two opening and closing brackets like this. Left arrow, right arrow, and inside of this you need to pass in string. Okay, so now this also means the same thing, that I want an array of string. Okay, let's see if this works, right? So I can put or as well. I'll copy and paste the same elements inside of this. Okay, it's working perfectly fine. No squiggly lines, no errors, nothing. This and this is the same, just two different ways of writing it. So if you see at some place like something like this, and at some other place you see something like this, don't be confused, it's all the same. Okay, this is just two different ways of setting data type to be of array. Now let's look at objects, variable object, right? So I want to have an object of name, Vinith, age 28, 28, right? Also, I can now go ahead and add something else as well. Maybe last name, right? Or address, right? So let's see what does the squiggly line shows. Type does not address does not exist on type, so it has already created a type for this, right? Similarly, what I can do is I will be able to define that I want this object to be exactly like this. So I can pass in a type. I can set the type to be name, string. I want name to be string, semicolon, age to be number, semicolon. Now if I try to set age to be string, it's going to show squiggly line. So here I am basically setting it up to saying that my where object should be of this type. If it doesn't match, just show an error, right? Similarly, if I want to use this at multiple places, what I can do is I can create an interface out of it. This is nothing but an interface. So I can cut it out from here, create an interface object interface. Okay, I can just add an I in front of it just for my convenience and just paste it here, right? Name, string, age, number. Okay, now I can use this interface here and I can use the same interface elsewhere as well. Cannot find. Okay, let's just look at it. Interface TypeScript. TypeScriptlang.org, one of the best websites to resolve your TypeScript related issues, right? So let's see what they have done. Okay, so interface, you can see interface. What am I doing wrong with an interface? Am I doing anything wrong with an interface? I don't think so. Okay, and then using of that interface, I'm again not, oh, the interface name, it's a capital O. That's the stupid mistake that I did. It has nothing to do with, actually my spelling was wrong. So now I'm able to do it. I'm just able to, if I set it to be a string, it's going to throw an error. Similarly, I can create multiple objects at different places in my code where object 2 with the same object. So similar to other languages, Java and all, now you can also define interfaces and force your code to follow it. So something like that, right? So this is very helpful, and that way you can have a structure to your object. Where say you want some something like say balance. Balance is something that you want it to be a number, but both your objects are not having it. Vinith has got a balance of say 5, right? But Harshita does not have any balance key at all. In that case, it's still going to show you the squiggly line, right? How to get rid of it is to add question mark here. As soon as you, sorry, add question mark here. Yeah, at the end of the key, right? You put a question mark at the end of the key. So this makes it an optional key, right? So balance is an optional key. If you don't have, that's not a problem. Okay, so if you have got something which some objects may have, some object may not, then you can make it optional like this. All right, let's go back up. So we saw interface. Say let's bring upon record. What is a record, right? Let's say you have a variable of key value pair, right? So variable map is equal to k is 1 is a, 2 is b, 3 is c, right? This is your map. So and you want to set, say, var map 4 is equal to d. Okay, so you can set such things as a record, right? A record is key value pair. A record is key value pair. Typescript. Let's look into it. Typescriptlang.org. Record key type. Okay, here you need to pass in key and type, right? So the key type would be number, and the value type would be string, right? So now if you change it to, say, true, right, it's showing a squiggly, right? If this record wasn't there, let's see how it performs. If this record wasn't there, it wasn't showing you any error, it was allowing you to set it to true, right? So it was allowing you to set it to true, and that's something that we did not want, right? So adding the record helps that way, that now we are forcing it that the key should be number, the value should be string, and even this is not allowed. Say you set key as hello. Let's see that if that is allowed. Well, that's surprisingly allowed. So let's see where map. If I refer it here, what is the value do I get? Does not set it properly. And if I pass in 4 here, let's see what is. It has not set it up yet, even when it is at this particular. Let's try and set it up here. Oh, it's already showing me error, except for 4. Yeah, so 4, it's automatically converting into number, but anything else is it's not able to convert it into number, right? So true will not work, 1 will work. You can repeat the values. Okay, so that's how a record works. Key value pairs you want to define, use a record. Okay, let's go to how automatically things are assigned, the variables are assigned values, right? So for example, you have got let result is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. It's an array dot map. Okay, uh, map is squaring it, num into num. So now when I hover over result, you see it's already setting it to be an array of number. It should be returning an array of number. Why? Because it has seen that num into num is going to give me number, and it's automatically setting it to be returning array of number. Similarly, if I change it to string, say like this, okay. Now if you see, you hover over this, it's making it an array of string. It's seeing that what is the kind of thing I'll get from here, and it's making automatically setting that up. You need not explicitly set it up to this. It's a good practice to set it up, but even if you don't, it's automatically doing that for you. So that's all about all the variables, all the types and TypeScript. There are several more. There are some things that you can create on your own, some things that we will look deeper into the coming tutorials. See you then.